yeah, this is Tactical Red, and you're on Tactical United. We just played very poor yesterday against Arsenal. I'm still feeling it. I'm not gonna lie. It's just a shocking result, to be honest with you. Like, I just don't understand how we managed to just lose like that. And Arteta with his like basic man-to-man tactics outdone Oli, who played McTominay on the right. Gary Neville said it the best, actually. He said we haven't got fullbacks that can attack. So that midfield four needs to be superb. Because the width is not going to be there a lot. It might be there a bit, but not a lot. So we need that. We need the four to be technically tight, and McTominay is not a technically tight player, and to play him on the right hand side of a diamond is criminal. I was watching it thinking, why is McTominay there? Oh, I was thinking, why is McTominay there? Because it was just shocking to me, like that McTominay was playing on the right hand side of a diamond, and I just think Bruno can't play as a number 10 in a diamond. I think he has to play at number 8, and Van der Beek at number 10. I think Van der Beek is a better number 10 than Bruno. I think Bruno can do with the box to box that Fred can do. He can do the same job Fred can do box to box. He's a box to box player, anyways. For me, he's box to box. Like, he had one good season, but in Sporting, to win all them goals and penalties and stuff. But he's box to box. I think box to box is his best position. Honestly, I think box to box is his best position, and from that right hand side, box to box as well. Like feeding Greenwood and Rashford. Come on, man. This is the way forward. And Martial and them when they play 2 men up front. I don't think Oli has any way of playing. I don't think he has any way of producing quality football. I don't think. Like, I've been Oli out from very early on, and the biggest reason why I was Oli out from very early on was because I thought he wasn't a leader. Now, that's the main reason, because I think any manager has to be a leader. So that's the first thing I saw in him, that he's not a leader, and you can see from then to now he's still doing things that leaders don't do, like playing players because not making hard decisions and not dropping big players and trying to keep everyone happy, and taking off people because it's easier to take them off than taking off a big player. Yeah, he took off Bruno Fernandes, but again, like, he took off Bruno Fernandes for Van der Beek when easily McTominay should have came off the pitch. At least with Fernandes, he might score a shot. I know he's playing poor, and I think Fernandes is lacking a lot of confidence, but at least he can score a goal. Like, McTominay is just no. Try Van der Beek and Bruno together. He doesn't want to do that. He's a very stubborn guy, and he's very stuck in his ways as the manager. And I think he just fell on the diamond with Van der Beek there accidentally. He would have made excuses if we lost that game. He would have said, "Oh, we was resting Rashford and Bruno." He would have made excuses if we lost that Leipzig game. But that Leipzig game ended up to be our best performance this season, and who didn't play? And the biggest person that didn't play was McTominay and Bruno and Rashford. Like we got to keep it like 100%. Yeah, Rashford scores. Yeah, Rashford does things, but he's not a team player. Like, he does good things in the game, but he doesn't make you play better as a team. Like, I think, like, when you have Bruno, Rashford and McTominay, like, these three players are like, they got all the energy in the world, but the technical ability and the football IQ isn't there. Like, Bruno Fernandes, he just does 3 balls and basically wishes Rashford was there running onto it. That's not IQ. That's not football. Like, I can do that. Like, obviously, like, 1 will work out of 10, but the other 9 won't. And you're giving the ball away. Players are losing, patience and confidence, and they're not keeping. No, that's my door. Someone's at my door, but yeah, they're not keeping.
Is it?
Oh, it's just this door alarm system downstairs. Yeah, yeah, no, they're not keeping. I don't know what I'm saying, but ultimately, he's not good enough. And then, not just good enough as a leader, then you got the tactical reason. Shocking. tactically shocking, tactically inept, tactically can't able to see that decisions need to be made. The decision of changing Fred to CDM from box to box was poor. Decision not to play Van der Beek was poor. Decision to keep Maguire as captain is poor. The decision to never play Tuanzebe is poor. The decision even to sell Delo is poor. Because we haven't got another right back. We haven't. Like, what? Fosu Mensah that doesn't get games. Like, the guy doesn't get games, yeah? Doesn't get games. So when if he does play, he's gonna play rubbish because he doesn't play. Like, at least Delo could challenge Wan-Bissaka. If we played a diamond and we had Delo against weaker teams, that's the best way to play. Like, yeah, Wan-Bissaka for them, defensive games. Put them tight games. But even Wan-Bissaka's not that great positioning. He's good at slide tackling. As I said, 50 million for slide tackles. I've said this from day. Like, that's all he does. Like, let's be honest. Slide tackles. Paid 50 million for slide tackles. That's what we did. We paid that for slide tackles. There's no doubt. And you know what? Against teams that have players that dribble a lot, it works. But when you look at the stats of how many teams actually have dribblers, it's not a lot, It's not a lot of teams that have dribblers. I'm telling you. It's all about that positional play. At Arsenal, they didn't dribble at Wan-Bissaka. And that's why you didn't see him in the game, because there's no one dribbling at him. That's why he can only play well when you got Sterling there. You got Mbappe or Neymar there. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, how many players play like that now? These are the things that people don't think about. These are the things that managers on Oli clearly doesn't think about. Oli clearly, like, he's a football manager, He's a football manager. He makes like 4 or 5 million a year, and he's rubbish. You're Oli out, you're this, you're that, you're Oli in, whatever, yeah. Now, in these lockdown times and whatnot, he's getting 5 million a year, and he's not performing. He's not performing. He's zero performance, and he's getting 5 million for these types of performances, for these team selections that me and you know better, and he's getting paid 55 million for that. It's shocking. He should know, as a manager who's getting paid 5 million, he should be doing things that I was surprised with. Like the diamond formation. When he dropped that against Leipzig, I was surprised. It's the only time I've been surprised. But the funny thing is, a couple of days before that Leipzig game, I said, I got a video, go check it out. It's about 3 videos before. I said before the Leipzig game that we need to play with a diamond. So, I'm not even surprised with that. A lot of United fans know that we can play with a diamond with the players that we have. Just needs to have the right players in the positions. You can't just play the diamond. You can't play 4-4-2 and put Fred left mid. It won't work. Do you know what I'm saying? You got to put players in the right positions. And Oli put McTominay as a box to box on the right of a diamond. When we all know technically McTominay is not good. He hides in the game. He hides from the ball. He doesn't like having the ball because he's scared to lose it, because he's not technically gifted. Now, I can see that. Some United fans can see that. But Oli and his so-called coaches can't see that and play him continuously. And then he's getting paid 5 million. And he's seeing things that I can see and I'm not getting paid. This is sackable. Just the things that he's doing is sackable. The thing he's showing a lack of ability. It's like someone gets a job. Like, you get a job in, like, you're like a mechanic or something, and you can't fix cars. Why are you a mechanic if you can't fix cars? Why? Okay, you fix a car one day, and then you don't fix the car the next day. And it's not because it's the car's fault. It's the mechanic. Everyone wants to blame all the parts of the car. But the mechanic's putting the car together. The mechanic is saying this is okay. The mechanic's saying this is drivable. This is a drivable car. That's what the mechanic is saying. It's a drivable car. But It's not driving. But we're still going back to that mechanic, expecting mechanic to fix your car. But so many times, he gets it wrong. So many times. Honestly, like, Maguire being captain is a very poor error. When you look at Maguire, when you look at him in that interview, have you seen his face? Have you seen his face? He looks like, I'm not being funny, he looks very special. And, you know, he looks like a child. He looks lost a little bit. Like, sometimes he looks lost. Like, I see him, like, in the training and that. He just looks like he's lost. He doesn't look like he's, you know, a leader. He looks like he needs to be led. He looks like he needs to be led. But as I said, Ollie picks him as captain because he's a reflection of him. That's what people do. They pick people that are a reflection of them. Captain. And Ollie is that guy, you know. And he's picking Maguire. Because him and Ollie, Maguire and Ollie are the same. Weak. Like, Ollie has never been first team. He's never been a first team starter. I think, like, his first season when he came to Man United, played a lot of games. And the season 2001-2, played a lot of games. Other than that, he hasn't. He scored a lot of goals. But didn't start a lot of games. Not a lot. Always players ahead of him. York, Cole, Van Nistelrooy. Do you know what I mean? He was never first team. He was a good squad member. And that's why he's so soft with the rest of his team. Because I just see sometimes when he talks, he still talks like he's a player. He talks like he's a player. Like, he talks like, you know, he talks about when he was a player, this is how it used to be. Like, he's basing all of his, I believe he's basing a lot on his experience as a player. And I would just like to say one thing, and people might find this a little bit controversial. All the Man United managers that have managed under Ferguson are shit. They're all shit. They're all shit, right? All of them are shit. Like, there's so many of them, they're all shit. None of them have won a trophy. I don't think any of them have won a trophy. Has Mark Hughes won a trophy? I don't think so. I think Brian Robson won a trophy. But I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure if Brian Robson won a trophy. I'll be honest with you. I'm not even sure. So, you know, they've hardly won any trophies. And the sun is blinding me today. They've hardly won any trophies, yeah. And I mean, Ollie's the only one that's won trophies. Actually, give him his credit, but it's in Norway, so how much credit can you really give? But Ollie's the only one that's won trophies, and I think it highlights, and it's no disrespect on Alex Ferguson. It's no disrespect because he grew up in a different type of era, and he wasn't a technical coach. He wasn't a technical coach like, you know, Ray Mullenstein or Steve McLaren or Carlos Queiroz. You know, he wasn't that type of coach. He was everything else but that. He had everything. He had every other string in his bow, except for the technical coaching ability. He had every other string in his bow. He could understand football very well. Like, just because you're not a great coach or great, like, technical coach doesn't mean you can't understand football completely. And Fergie, the thing with Fergie is that he understood football completely. Like, he understood individual players' mindset. He understood how to get the best out of them. He understood when to say this, when to say that, when to be angry, when to be nice, when to say one word, when to say no words, when to say a speech, when to give you the hairdryer treatment. He knew when to do what. He knew how to lead men. Yeah, he knew how to lead men. But he wasn't a good technical coach. And I believe that all these Man United players that was under him haven't had an understanding of football in a technical manner. I think they understand football in a manner of, because when you listen to Roy Keane, Paul Scholes, Gary Neville, and Gary Neville's learned, at least Gary Neville has learned to understand football in a technical way. But you listen to Paul Scholes, he doesn't understand football technically. Roy Keane just doesn't know what he's talking about technically. You know, Rio Ferdinand doesn't know technically. He understands football. He understands what's going on, but he hasn't got a technical mind. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Carrick is there with Ollie now. Clearly doesn't have a technical mind. Ollie doesn't have a technical mind. Mark Hughes didn't. It's all about, like, they don't understand that Ferguson was just a great man manager. He was the greatest man manager, the greatest motivator, set the standards high, a great leader, a great understanding of players. You know, he was so many different things. And obviously none of them have that, what Fergie had. But they also don't have the technical ability. They don't have a technical mindset to see how coaching it should be done. They don't have a technical aspect of players and understanding, and that's why like our Man United teams, like, you know, the one the 99 should have won more Champions Leagues, but because we didn't have a technical manager or someone who has a technical mind. And in Europe, you need that technical mind to win games and stuff. Like, you can win Premier Leagues, but in Europe, it's technical because you're dealing with Spanish and Italian and you know, Ajax and certain French teams were good back then. You know, so in Porto, look, Mourinho, like, do you know what I'm saying? You need that technical mind, and he hasn't passed that down to all his disciples that are now in management or have been in management, because none of them have it. It's all about passion. It's all about work rate. It's all about working for your team. That's what all of them say the same thing. All of them say exactly the same thing when it comes to, like, what they should do. And, you know, they all do the same thing. It's because they don't have a technical mind because they haven't been given one. Same with Ollie. He just doesn't have a technical mind. He just doesn't have a technical mind when it comes to football. He can't see what's going wrong. He can't see it. He has his favourites. He has passion merchants because he thinks he puts these passion merchants first because what he knows is about passion. He knows about the Roy Keanes. He knows about the Gary Nevilles. He knows about the Peter Schmeichels. He knows about, you know, I guess he had the season with Eric Cantona, but Eric Cantona's not even a passion merchant. He knows about, you know, Nicky Butts and Phil Neville's, and he knows about these men. Like, and that's what he's trying to replicate with Maguire and McTominay and that. But that man ain't got no ability. Maguire got no ability. McTominay's got zero ability. I said from day one, McTominay's rubbish. People will say onto me. I said from day one, Brandon Williams, where is he now? He's playing in the reserves because he's rubbish. Told you, what's he good at? Nothing. Everyone was like, yeah, replace him with Luke Shaw. He's rubbish. He's rubbish. And we tried to put him in the team for like half a season. And he lost us semi-finals and lost us games because we played Brandon Williams, passion merchant. We lost games because of Brandon Williams. We lost so many games because of Brandon Williams. And then, but Ollie wants, but you know, this guy is putting people in and losing us games. He's been deserving the sack from day. Like, we got top three. The reason why we got third is because we went on a run and we played easy games. Easy games. We had a batch of easy games, just like for Ollie's first run, batch of easy games. Easy games, man. Come on. I just had to get it off of my chest this morning, I'm not going to lie. Well, I'm going to go out now. Enjoy my afternoon and my evening, actually. So I've got a few plans before this lockdown locks me down and us down. So, well, I don't know about all this lockdown and all this stuff. You know, I have my opinion, but that's for another day still. But I will say that it's a load of bollocks. That's what I will say. It's a load of bollocks. Anyway, I'm Tactical Red. Enjoy.